We enjoyed a bit of a sleep in this morning before heading down through the visitor centre and on to the cliffs of the Great Australian Bight, anticipating that we hope to see a lot of whales. Day 4 started with clear blue skies, would you believe? Absolutely perfect for whale watching. After a short stroll through the visitor centre and down the path, we were greeted with the spectacular cliffs of the Great Australian Bight. They were lashed by the beautiful Southern Ocean. The bay in front of us was literally full of southern right whales and their calves. It was an awesome sight which kept us spellbound for some time as we watched these large mammals put on a display worthy of the long journey to get here. Mums gently drifted by as their offspring frolicked in the shallows, waving fins and splashing tails, keeping the many onlookers up on the cliffs happily amused. I tell you what, in a very short time, the place was crowded with people, probably as many people as there were whales, and everyone was just awe and wow, you know. It was a sight to be seen, incredible sight, as these southern right whales just frolicked around in the shallows and waving to us as they went by. Can't stop raving about it. We just had such a great time watching the whales just splashing around in the shallows. Next stop was Penang and its unusual windmill museum, with Australia's largest windmill proudly dominating the display. With a blade span of over 10.6 metres, the Comet windmill was donated to the museum and came from the abandoned Nullarbor station in Western Australia. It's worth visiting and seeing some of the unusual designs in windmills over the years, just to have a quiet stroll around. It was really good, really worth visiting. It doesn't look much when you pull up, but once you're there, you get mesmerised by the many different designs that are here. Of course, the wind, the wind kept blowing for us. Penang itself is a small town of about 1 or 2 streets. There's not very much on offer here. So, yeah, if you blink, you'll miss it. Seriously. Here we are at the quarantine station just on the edge of Mildura. So this is where we handed over all of our fruit and veggies. Not that we had that many, but what little we had to get rid of before going through. So no great loss. You just got to do the right thing by these guys and they're happy. Anyway, welcome to Mildura. Shall we go for a quick drive through town, then the caravan park?
Can do.
Mildura is a nice quiet town on the beach, and it's got a lovely main street coming into town with the beautiful pine trees down the centre. It's really good. It's got a lot of shops and places to visit here, so yeah, it's worthwhile stopping the night. It really is a quaint little town. It's full of friendly people as well. They make you feel really welcome. Wherever we went, we were always greeted with a smile. We We stayed at the Shelley Beach Caravan Park just to the east of town, and must say it was a beautiful park, nice and clean and cosy, right on the beach too, which was just great. The bay itself was very quiet today. Fortunately, that strong wind that we had experienced all the way across the Nullarbor had disappeared by the time we got here to Mildura. As you can see, the trees are not even moving, not an inch, and the bay, well, it's as flat and as calm as it possibly can get. We went and had fish and chips on the beach. Yum, yum, yum. And it was worthwhile going and get some decent fish and chips for dinner. It was such a beautiful change to be on the beach after spending the last couple of days on dirt roads in the middle of nowhere. What a contrast this is. Absolutely amazing. Nain had to stop in Mildura and do some running repairs on the side of the road. Nothing major. Well, it didn't take long to get camp set up at Shelley Beach, so it was an early night for us. We'll catch up with you tomorrow. Good night. On the highway in Mildura is the 8-metre high monument dedicated exclusively to the farmer. It is made of 70 tonnes of solid granite. A short distance later, and the giant pink and grey galah in Kimber marks the halfway point for drivers on the road travelling from the east coast to the west. This monument is erected to mark Goyder's line, which is a line drawn in the sand, so to speak. Determined in 1869 by George Goyder as being the boundary between good cropping and arid land. His findings were based on recording average rainfalls. Any place with 10 inches or more of annual rainfall were placed south of Goyder's line and considered reliable farming. Obviously he wasn't 100% accurate, as you can see by this healthy paddock being a strong example of extensive farming stretching well above Goyder's recommendations from 160 years ago. Sitting on the south side of our highway, 70 kilometres west of Port Augusta, is the site of Australia's very first iron ore mine, way back in 1900. 21% of the steel used in the construction of the Sydney Harbour Bridge came from the high-grade ore mined right here. Proudly on display today is the number 7 Marion all-electric shovel, which dug more than 24 million tonne of iron ore over a 16-year period. I wonder what the price of fuel is in this whole station. These former water tanks have become a tourist attraction, but how many people know what is in the tanks these days? Well, they are full of old used tyres, which are awaiting the recycler. Who would have guessed? Sitting in the shadows of the beautiful Flinders Ranges is the town of Port Augusta. We stopped here to refuel and restock before continuing on. But Port Augusta has always been a part of the railway throughout the years. And 10 kilometres north is Yorkeys Crossing, which rates as one of the best train spotters locations in the country. Alas, no luck for us today. Replacing the Port Augusta coal-fired power station just south of town are 50 windmills and 250,000 solar modules, providing 317 megawatts of power to the network. The last leg of today's journey was by far the most picturesque. Sit back and enjoy the twists and turns as we head for our campsite at the eastern end of the historical Horrocks Pass. Our camp tonight is a clearing behind the monument to explorer John Horrocks, who forged a trail through the pass back in 1846. The view from our swags were nothing short of stunning. Just check this out. Well, the sun was going down and it was time to call it a night. It was getting bitterly cold very, very quickly. So we settled down just after dark and had a good night's sleep. Very cold the next morning though. Until tomorrow, we'll see you then. Bye.
Oh, good morning, Horrocks. You are freezing. It's below zero here at the moment. Oh, look at the sunshine on the hills there. And over here, there's cloud rolling off the top of the hills there. See if I can get in a bit closer. Look at that. Wow. Pretty good, eh? Sun's about to come up just there. There's the sun right across the top of the hills there now. Beautiful. Absolutely magic. There you go.
Welcome to the old town of Wilmington. Oh, it's freezing still down here. Out of the pass, it's bloody cold. It's a great old town. I haven't been here for, oh God, probably 15, 16 years. But with these old towns, nothing ever changes. Just check this out, will you? Look at all these old Land Rovers sitting outside the Toy Museum in the middle of Wilmington. That's fascinating. It's fantastic. Look at them all. The old Wilmington pub still standing. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? We're coming into Melrose now, and well, everyone's still asleep. You can tell it is still very bitterly cold. I don't think it's got above 0 yet. This silo art is fantastic. We saw a few of them around. This one was really good. I love this one. Laura is, well, it's picture card perfect. It's just something you expect to see in everyone's photo album. It is beautiful. Loved driving through this town, but with previous towns like Melrose and that, everyone was still fast asleep. Well, here we are in the Clare Valley. It's a wine district, of course, and nothing much happening at the moment. Of course, it's completely out of season right now. But Clare, quite a big town, quite a bit going on here. But we didn't stop, we just kept going through. We wanted to get down to our destination. On the way down, we passed Lake Warren. It's a dam supplying water to Adelaide, not too far away. Bloody beautiful place. Look at that. It's just so beautiful. The countryside around here is, well, it's typical timber country. Tall trees and pine plantations stretching for miles and miles. But it makes for a very picturesque drive. Situated in the heart of Birdwood is the very reason we came here, the National Motor Museum. This is a masterpiece of Australian motoring history, so place it high on your bucket list. The collection of vehicles in here is nothing short of spectacular. It's just, you can spend hours in here wandering around. And really, you know, from the Rolls Royces to the panel vans, they're all here on display. It's just a fantastic and very interesting place. And there's also a large section on motorbikes as well, if you're into them. But the cars, even my favourite vehicle, the Mini Moke, was there. And the Leyland Brothers four-wheel drive was on display, would you believe? But there was my favourite car of all, the Brougham. I loved the Brougham. Even the P76 made it in. Look at that. It was great. One highlight for me was the life-size Toyota Camry, made from Lego blocks, would you believe? Well, it was time to prepare ourselves for another bitterly cold night. Good night. Oh my goodness, did the temperature drop this morning? Check out the ice on my windscreen. It's freezing. An hour and a half later, the sun was starting to warm things up at long last as we reached the historical town of Burra. Hosting the Burra Creek, the town is adorned with a number of old buildings and attractions. Just situated a short drive from the centre of town is the old coal mine. It's worth checking out and seeing how things operated years ago. Next stop for us is what has accidentally become a real tourist attraction. You got to see this. This is incredible. It's the Midnight Oil House. It's actually the house that was featured on the Diesel and Dust album from 1987. This old relic attracts many visitors retracing their musical past. One of my favourite places is the old railway town of Peterborough. Situated on the main line from Port Augusta to Sydney, the unique entry statement sets the scene for the town's main point of interest, railways. There are numerous items of rail history around the town, including the old steam locomotive W907. Sitting proudly out front of the Railway Museum. After leaving Peterborough, we made a short stop at Port Augusta before heading out through the Pitchy Ritchie Pass to our final destination for the day, the quaint little town of Quorn. The drive up through Pitchy Ritchie Pass is beautiful, very, very picturesque and very historical. Along the way are a number of examples of the hard work and labour that was put into building the original Ghan line up through the valley. Stonework adorns the area, and not a bit of cement was used. The rocks were cut perfectly and placed together and still stand the testament of time today. These days, Quorn is the northern terminus for the Pitchy Ritchie Railway, which is run by volunteers who are determined to keep this part of the old Ghan alive. During the winter months, the fully restored steam locomotive NM25 makes its 78-kilometre return journey from Port Augusta up to Quorn, hauling a collection of 100-year-old timber carriages full of passengers enjoying the day. The township of Quorn is full of history, with several old buildings, heaps of rail memorabilia and beautiful picturesque scenery, which is setting the tone for what's to come further north. Nestled quietly at the southern end of the Flinders Ranges, this place was once a train stop for the original Ghan Railway, which connected Port Augusta with Alice Springs for many years. We were very fortunate to catch up with the train as it crossed the highway and travelled around Tickle Belly Hill. I kid you not, Tickle Belly Hill does exist. Check it out. Oh boy, was this great. Oh, love this. Beautiful. Look at those carriages. So well restored. In fact, this last carriage, have a good look at it. It was actually used on the Trans-Australian Railway long before it became the Indian Pacific. But there you go. Here it is, fully restored and operating on the Pitchy Ritchie Railway. We made camp at the cosy caravan park and awoke to a chilly -2 degrees in the morning. Oh my goodness, it was freezing. On day 8, we woke up to a freezing cold morning and, unfortunately, some bad news from home. So we decided to pack our gear and head back west instead of continuing north as we had planned. It was a quick trip back, only took us a couple of days. We took advantage of some motel accommodation, leaving the swags rolled up in the back of the ute. As we crossed the border back into Western Australia, we were relieved to think we were finally back in our home state and on the last leg home. Heading down the Euclid Pass, you could see the weather approaching us from the west. Oh dear, that looks very yucky. And as it turned out, it was. This had been a bit of a journey, and a lot of cold weather, a lot of freezing mornings, and yeah, very, very uncomfortable. We'll have to check on that next time we do one of these trips and make sure that we travel at a warmer time of the year for sure. Our last night on the road, oh look at that weather. It came in, it poured down overnight. So glad we were not in the swags. It would have been unbearable. By the time we reached Kalgoorlie, at the end of the longest dad and daughter annual camping trip, our vehicles had covered over 5,000 kilometres. Not too bad, eh? We had a great time, we really did, and enjoyed every moment of it, and can't wait to do it all again. Hopefully it won't take us a few years next time. So from Nain and myself, we say thank you for joining us. I hope to see you again on our next dad and daughter camping trip. Bye for now.